Right, afternoon YouTube. So, coming down to my sofa, what have we got? This is my latest purchase off eBay here in the UK. So this was basically buy one, get one free. So basically I purchased the rucksack from a seller for the price of £15.21. And then a couple of days later, same seller sent me the haversack because he forgot to put it into the rucksack when he sent it. So I said to him, do you want anything to cover the postage? He said, no, you might as well have it. I don't need three of them. And then we had a little chat and he said, right, it's the Mark II haversack and I've just done this with it and blah, blah, blah. So, you know, saved me having a look on the internet. But like after he said it was part of a system, I went and just had a little look. So this was issued to the Austrian Army during the 70s and up to the mid-80s, where it was phased out in 85 or 86 and replaced with a more modern load-bearing set of equipment. So the Austrian Army went from operating on a belt kit to a vest and a more modern style rucksack. So these have been around on the surplus market for a good while, and the fact that these two are brand new and unused and he bought them from Vestalica at the same time, I'm not moaning. The haversack itself here in the UK kind of starts around the 20-25 quid mark with postage. I think that's a bit too rich, but you know, beggars can't be choosers, and it is popular with the bushcraft brigade, so that's most likely the reason why the price is so jacked up. As for the rucksack, prices on that really do vary. They start at 15 quid for a pretty naff one, going through to, I've seen 40 quid for these allegedly new. So yeah, take that with a pinch of salt. Anyway, I'm going to move the rucksack to one side. We'll do a little review on the haversack first. So, grabbing the rucksack's very nice grab handle, which is built in, which is good. Haversack, there we go. So, nice, simple little bag. It's quite large in volume. Its sizes are, because you're bound to ask, so the actual haversack itself is 12 inches high by 13 inches wide by 6 inches deep. It's got a storm collar on it on the inside. It has got a pocket all the way along the back and then two side ones. And it also has this webbing band on both sides and this little loop at the bottom on both sides. And as you can see there is a strap with the LC1 kind of Alice teeth for a bedroll or a poncho or whatever you want to put underneath it. So let me just pause and I'll open the haversack up, I'll show you the inside of that. Right then, so there's the inside of the haversack under the lid. It is a simple storm collar. So you have to remember that the Austrian Army is mainly working in the Alps, in the mountains, in snow, sleet, rain. So having a storm collar on their haversack is a good idea. Yeah, so when you originally buy it, the cordage that the Austrians are using is very thick, and you're going to have to swap it out for some paracord and then a barrel lock, and then that way it's just a lot easier to use. Yeah, so volume of the haversack is one of those areas that's not quite sure. Now, I don't know if it differed from the Mark 1 and the Mark 2, but according to Austrian surplus sites, it was either 20 litres or 25, right? So it's got to be one of those, depending on what version you've got. So, not quite sure, but it's either a 20 or a 25. So anyway, methods of carriage for this are shoulder strap over the shoulder, belt clips to mount it onto a belt I've already shown you, and then it could be used in conjunction with these eyelets, here, down here, and in this other corner here. If you remove the shoulder harness system from that could be mounted onto that, and it could be used like a day pack or an assault pack. Yeah, and then other methods of carrying it. Now, I don't know if these were jerry-rigged or these were actually methods of carriage properly by the Austrian Army, was A, to mount it on the front of the yoke, or B, mount it on the underneath. so it just swung about. So they were your methods of carrying it, either on its own or attached to the rucksack. So that is the haversack done. Build quality is exceptional, really is well made. The stitching is exquisite. It's just really just over engineered. Basically anything by the Austrians and the Germans is always over engineered. So now then, the main part, the rucksack, the Austrian Army Alice pack, as it's sort of affectionately known. So if you look at it and you see the 3 external pockets, you go, yeah, it looks like an Alice pack. That is about as close as it gets. The Austrian Army must have been scouting around for a pack, didn't want to do much R&D, and didn't want to go, yeah, we've got to build one from scratch. So they basically said, right, what are our needs? What are our guys doing? What are we using kit-wise? Let's just sort of copy the Alice, and let's make it a bit different to our needs and make it a bit bigger. The Austrian Army sleeping bag system at the time was a mummy bag with arm slots in it, yeah, and it was a lot bigger. It was the same kind of size as your down bag, the mountaineering bag that the US Army have, yeah. So it was a big old bag, yeah. So things to note: pocket layout's different, and none of these pockets on the Austrian have a tunnel behind them. They are sewn directly onto the rucksack. There is also a rubberized mat base for this thing because it's in the snow, sleet and the rain, so they don't want water coming into the bottom of the rucksack and getting the kit wet that way. And then there are drain eyelets in all 3 of these side pockets. So if we just go like that, you can see that one there, you can see that one there, and you can see one that there, and you can see the reinforced base there. Yeah, so there's nothing there. And then again, like on the Alice, you've got these clips, and they've just got this nice little tidy up to tidy the straps away. The straps are a lot shorter as well. And then if you lift it up, there's the grab handle, and then it just comes over the top like an Alice pack. Yeah, so that's kind of where you get the Alice kind of reference. There's also no lid pocket on this. Yeah, and then the pockets themselves, I'll do the dimensions and the sizes. So the main rucksack body is 19 inches high, 15 inches wide, 9 inches deep. And the side pockets, those skinny ones, are 12 inches high, 6 inches wide, 3 inches deep. And then the middle one at the back is 9 inches high, 9 inches wide, and 3 inches deep. Now that will take the Austrian Army cook set. It'll take the Swedish Army Trangia one as well. It will also take, can I undo this in one hand? I might be able to. Oh, anyway, so what I've got in there is the US Army 2-quart canteen, and there is enough room in there to shove in 2 field stripped MREs easily. These side pockets will take British Army shelter sheet, tent pegs, paracord, Baco Laplander folding saw. They will take a jet boil. Well, I can get my jet boil in there with a spare gas canister. They will also take the Nalgene 1.5 litre bottle. Yeah, so anything that, you know, anything you want basically. Folded up Gary Gore-Tex coat would go in there as well. And then the main body of the rucksack is just a big bucket. So I'm going to pause and then open it up. Right then, so open the rucksack up. So you've got 2 draw cord pullers. So basically I've replaced the Austrian cordage again for some paracord and a barrel lock just to make life easier. And then if I pull the storm collar down on the top, you will notice I've got a dry bag in there. That's a 60 litre dry bag folded over with 2 sleeping bag systems in it, just to give the rucksack some volume, because when I remove that, it's just going to collapse in on itself. But this is another thing that seemed to cause some confusion on reviews. So a lot of guys are just automatically assuming that because the Alice pack has a pocket on the back that is designed for a radio, the Austrian Army must do similar. Now, I can't say yay or nay that the Austrian Army designed that for a radio. They might have dumped a radio in that pocket as well, but from my understanding, that is copied from the old German Army 65 litre flex arm pack and their mountaineering pack, and it is designed for the German and Austrian armies folding kit mat. Now, whereas most people back in the day had a round roll mat, yeah, that you'd stick under the lid or strap on the side, the German army and the Austrian army went with this kind of idea. So this basically is a foam sleeping mat that is sectionalised a bit like a book and then opens up like that, yeah. So when you see it individually, it is very thin, but when it's all together, it is very thick. So that's what gives you the padding for your back. So that's why there is no frame internally or externally on these Austrian Army Alice packs. So that's what throws a lot of people. So this particular one here isn't a German Army one. I've got a German Army one, but of course that's in the loft in another rucksack. This one just happens to be made here in the UK by good old Dragon. So yeah, and the fact that this is it can either fit in, it will either fit in upright like that, or you can have it that way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the dry sack out, I'm going to shove this back in, yeah, so you can see it in the back of the rucksack when I show you the shoulder harness. So basically I'm going to pause again, shove that back into the rucksack and spin it around. Right then, so turn the rucksack around. So first things to note, very nice built-in grab handle, and then you will see these metal attachment points on the top and there again on the bottom, and then this is their yoke shoulder harness affair. Also on the inside you can see where the roll mat is, so I've put it in length across side to side, so that's the outside seam there and there. But again, you can have it either up the middle or across the back, doesn't really matter. So yeah, anyway, the harness itself looks very similar to military kind of H harnesses from back in the day. So it's heavy duty webbing, it's a bit padded. So if you are an American, an Australian or a New Zealander, you would just go, oh yeah, that looks like a M56 load bearing H harness, just missing the middle bits that would have gone down and attached to a butt pack. And then if you're a Brit, you would have said, oh god, that looks like a 1958 yoke from our webbing system. So yeah, it just clips in with these, like I've said, and then these are the adjusters, and then I have no idea how the pack haversack attaches, so I'm just presuming there's got to be some way that the Austrian lads just kind of jerry-rigged that and improvised that sitting there, you know, on your stomach down. But yeah, I mean, what are my thoughts on it? It's a very good rucksack. Build quality is exceptional, the workmanship is superb, but again, you know, typical of the Germans and the Austrians, it's, you know, over engineered. It's a bomb-proof piece of kit, and the fact that I basically paid for the rucksack and got the haversack for nothing is a winner. So yeah, price wise it really does vary. So if this video has been any use to you, just give it a thumbs up, subscribe, do whatever. But I mean, other than that, I just thought I'd do a review of both of them in one go, and that is enough of me waffling about this. Mitch out.